Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Minutes that's in front of us, we have budget hearing on July 21st to the 23rd. They've been sent out to you. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes? If so, let them be known. Otherwise, I will entertain a motion to approve the budget hearing minutes. Ben Bowling has made the motion to approve. John Revels made the second. Open for discussion. Seeing none, we'll take it to a vote. All in favor signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same. Motion carried. Next is our August 4th County Council meeting.
Sure.
Yes.
With the commissioners here.
We need to go on the.
Okay.
We need to call.
All right, go ahead.
Where's the county commissioners call?
Okay. All right. The minutes for the August 4th meeting. Do we have, and they've been sent out, is there any additions or corrections to those minutes? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So.
Gerald Fleming's made the motion, do I have a second? Jonathan Spalding is second. It's open for discussion. Seeing none, we'll take it to a vote. All in favor, signify by saying, raising your right hand. All opposed, same. Have to watch one meeting on it. Okay, at this time, we have our public hearing. We'll go ahead and go through non-binding reviews. We'll open up for a public hearing. Do I need to close the regular meeting for that to do that? Okay, we're going to do this in order of business.
You're not opening public hearing.
Okay.
You're just doing the non-binding review.
Okay. Non-binding reviews, as they've been submitted. First non-binding review we have is for the Salem Public Library. Yeah. Is there anybody that would like to make a comment on these non-binding reviews as we go through them? And then please let it be known, we'll let you address the council. But at this time, we're on the public library. Are there any questions on that? We're gonna do these individually of, all right. So
I think all you gotta do is show that we did review and we did run.
all right. Salem Public Library.
If you get a negative, you don't want to do one with the city sign, you do it separate.
All right. What's that say?
That's Salem.
Salem.
That's public library too. It's just their copy.
All right.
One's my copy, one's their
Okay,
copy.
all right. In their budget from the certified budget from 2014 was 591,026, and it's been raised to 606,204. Any comments? For public.
We do something, so make sure you understand that's
Okay.
their proposal.
Good with that?
All right, if we're not hearing anything, go ahead.
All right. Okay, next one. Delaney Creek.
Which they are a binding also, but there was some kind of blurred lines on whether we need to be done binding also. So we're just gonna go ahead and do it along with the binding, just to make sure that it's covered.
All right.
Yeah.
So both of them are here, right? This is binding and non-binding.
Well, it's not,
This is-
not
this-
mine.
Not
This is
binding.
non-binding.
We'll come back to it.
All right. Looks like the biggest thing is that they're got increases in their channel maintenance fund. They're increasing by $13,000 on that. Otherwise, the budget seems fairly the same on that. And council, as you review, do you see anything you'd like to address? You will notice that in a lot of these conservancy districts, one of their big expenses that they're increasing on is channel maintenance. What I've been seeing. With no remarks, public, anything? Okay. Okay.
Come back.
Elk Creek Conservancy, little bit increase in channel maintenance, actually have a decrease in our general expenditures a little bit in that. Channel maintenance seems to be the big one on that. It moved up by $3,000 on that. Like that. All right. Public, anything from Delaney? Elk Creek, I mean.
This Elk Creek hasn't been mowed, a lot of trash. The person talked to about what's going on with that heat.
And Mr. Don Mead is the representative,
Yeah.
since I share all the space with him. Right there around the lake on the highway, is that what you're seeing?
The dam, yeah, all around the parking lot, a lot of trash, hasn't been mowed.
All right. And comments from the public? Ben Rush? Channel maintenance went from 8,328 to 23,772. General fund has gone up about $12,000 up actual. So the total budget is up about $23,000. It looks like from last year. Ben Rush, anybody from the public want to make a comment? Okay. Council? If not, it has been reviewed. Ready for it? You got a copy of this?
This Clark County is the lead county on it.
Okay. They have shared duties, with money forward. Channel maintenance is up again on that. The proposed budget on general is down considerably, about $170,000. Their maintenance on their channel is up by actually about $22,000 or $23,000. So channel maintenance seems to be the theme. West Washington School Corporation. Budget's moved from a 9.241 budget to a 10,860,000 budget. Comments from the public, West Washington School Corporation, council. Transportation seems like the biggest increase, 26.27. Or that transportation seems to be the biggest increase that they've got. Seeing none, been reviewed. Down community school, last year's budget was $17,436,177. Proposed budget is $18,159,006. And don't forget that $6. Capital projects is the biggest increase that they got, 16.26%. Public. Council. Seeing none, been reviewed. East Washington School Corporation, Mr. Darnell, would you like to make any remarks on the budget?
We're anticipating increases in our capital projects as well as our bus replacement. We're looking in our bus replacement plan, we have 2 buses that are up for replacing that this year, and that's why it's such a significant.
Okay, all right. Their budget for last year was $14,767,424, and their proposed budget is $17,130,053. Like you said, the biggest things are bus replacement and capital projects, which have significant increases. Public? Council? Been reviewed? Hamilton. Now, rainy day fund is, I've got a question. I've seen this on several of these. What do we got? Casino, Riverboat. And I see that in 2005 budget, they've got it as a line. Not all of them have that. So, how did that come about? What's that?
The cities get a portion of the state riverboat. Sometimes they put it on there, but since it's not a tax rated fund, some of them put it on, some of them don't.
All right. Rainy day fund is up considerably in that. Parks and Recreation is up by a pretty high percentage. And then their total budget was $184,638 for last year, and the proposed budget is $245,500. City of Campbellsburg, any comments from the public? Council? I will make a comment. There has been councils and advisory groups on each one of these that have reviewed these budgets. We're going through These are non-binding reviews. It's by state law that the county councils have got to go through it and review it as a third party entity. As far as looking at that, like Mark Reed, our legal counsel, said, is for us to review, especially with the caps implied as part of the state, to see what kind of impact that those budgets have upon our general and our budget for the county. Okay. Hardinsburg, their budget is the same as last year, $45,000. They have not changed. Public, council, and review. Little York, they've increased in their rainy day fund. The original budget for 14 was $19,620. The proposed budget is $46,877. They got an increase in their rainy day fund of $14,877. The general is up by 312% from 4,120 to 17,000. Those are the two major changes. It's pretty significant on the general. On that, I didn't totally go in there and take a look at that and have anybody from Little York. Yes. Steve, you want to address that?
What that is a dormant fund that had been sitting there for years, and they closed the fund out and divided the money between the general fund and the rainy day fund.
Okay, all right. That's good to have an explanation of that. Public, any other comments? Council? If not, it's been reviewed. Live on here. The budget is the same as it was last year, $18,500. It is the same. Public, council, reviewed. New Beacon. They have added the line item for the casino riverboat on that. Rainy day fund is up considerably by $68,000 from $32,000 to $100,000. The total budget increase goes from last year's was $450,155. Proposed budget is $658,032. Public? Any particular comments?
What would be some of the reasons for not increased?
Could be the same thing that Lou did, they could be closing to one time. Yeah, this is proposed budget, they could be putting all their inputs in there. I mean, it doesn't mean that they can get it. You know, they probably just put riverboat the way they have, so they have a line item to appropriate out of. You know, that's a different matter. probably in the past had to do additional appropriations somehow to fund that money to actually spend it. And then they're putting it in a line item so they can appropriate out of it. Yes.
Questions? No, it's been reviewed. As we go through our council, we cannot make changes on these budgets, but we can make recommendations. I've made the comment that these things are about like dating your sister. We are to South Tillo. There is an increase from a total budget of 16,000 to a proposed of 22,030. An increase in local road and street has an increase. Motor vehicle highway. Why would that be? That would just be a line item to then receive. They increase in expenditures. They get a certain amount off of fairly road. And they have increased their cemetery fund to keep up the cemetery a little bit too. Those are increases public. Steve, did you have a remark?
I was just going to say, a lot of those MVH funds and cigarette tax funds, like with Little York, have sat there with no budget for years and accumulated money, and with the revenue crunch we're in, they're having to budget those just in case they may need to spend it.
All right, so.
Not necessarily they're going to.
All right, for clarification, they're dormant funds that they're actually pulling money in to put into the fund. All right, very good. Thank you for,
Funds they've not used in the past, that's the thing.
thank you for that clarification. Public, council, what review? City of Salem. I think the budget has been increased from $4,650,101 to $5,169,687. Big increases are aviation and airports. Otherwise, not a huge increase in anything, but that's the biggest one, is aviation. Public? Council? Been reviewed? These are township. Okay. Non-binding is dealt with conservancy districts and with the towns and cities and that council. We're looking for a motion to approve. Jonathan Spalding made the motion. Dale Fleming second. Open for discussion. Being none, all in favor? And school corporations, I forgot about that. Go ahead and put that part of your amendment, Bill, with that. All in favor, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same, motion carries. Township, starting with Brown. No change. Public. Council. Been reviewed. Franklin, been a decrease in their budget. They've lowered their township assistance a little bit and their fire by $2,000 for Franklin. Public, any comment? Their original budget is $82,950. Proposed budget is $80,150. Council, and review.
No, I will answer any questions you got on why I lowered it if you want to ask.
Why did you lower it?
Okay.
But that's unusual.
Well, for the fire, our revenue is getting less every year, and the contract is for $34,000. So I had to lower the contract to what revenue we have coming in. And on assistance, over a 3-year period, in 2012, there was 3 continual recipients passed away, and 2 families were arrested for drugs, and they're being taken care of by somebody else now. In 2013, there was 2 families arrested for drugs. 1 family I relocated to Scott County, and 1 passed away. And so far in 2014, I've relocated 2 families to Scott County. 1 passed away, and the township had to bury 1. So my recipients are going down, so I have no need to keep burdening the taxpayer for the money.
Gibson Township has a decrease in their budget. Certified budget last year was $122,395. Proposed budget is $93,455. Biggest decrease is cumulative fire is dropped from $60,000 to $30,000 for this year. No big changes other than that.
The main thing on the $60,000 last year, we was in the process of getting a new fire truck, and I had to raise it up so I could ride out of the Bloom Fire Fund for the township's part, and I wrote the check to the town of Little York. But my big concern is with the public safety part, not fire department, but first responders. I have requested for years and years to get a certificate of insurance from the county ambulance providers, whether it be Knox County or Washington County, and it goes in the deaf ears, and we have none. So we're going to start reducing the amount of assistance that we can give to the county ambulance service because we get no assistance from them. They send a light load out of people for whatever reason, and then they want to use us for drivers, riding in the ambulance and everything else coming back into town, and without an insurance certificate from them, we can't do it. So we're going to stop. And the other one is, we have became traffic cops, and that's due to safety of the sheriff's department. They don't want to send. And out of the 18 wrecks, we got to send to Comfort extra personnel, and then you have extra people there, and then the cops think, well, we don't have to send people out because we're going to have plenty of, and that's going to stop. We'll go to 1 truck and 1 person if we have to. Because most of the wrecks are not local people anyway.
All right. Phil, will you address that on the ambulance, you know, certificate, no ambulance?
You also wrote something about first one.
Now,
Mr. Weaver? Yes,
Would you come to the next ambulance meeting?
I don't know when they are, and they probably don't fit my schedule, but I mean, I've talked to Troy before it became Knox County, I've talked to him in Knox County, and I've talked to him since. So, we're gonna stop.
You bet.
We need the paper, he's got my address, he can mail it to me. And I need one January 1 of every year to put in my folder for that year, and I don't get it.
all right, any more public? Council? Not, budget's been reviewed. Thanks for your explanation, Mr. Weaver. Howard? No, we're ready. We gotta go ahead. Howard Township, the budget is the same as last year, no changes. Public, council, none, and review. Jackson Township has a decrease from 88,000 to 85,900. No significant changes in that. Dropped a little bit in township assistance. And then dropped a little bit in fire and Q fire. Public council? Yes, Steve?
The reason he dropped that, he has a significant surplus of money, and he was trying to reduce the rate at the same time, use up some of the surplus.
All right, very good.
Maybe a good idea, maybe not.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that could come back to bite.
All
That could really come back to bite.
right. Public council? Review. Rain, Kevin. Jefferson. Been a decrease in this budget from 49,480, 43,615. Biggest decrease is fire. Yeah. And that is the decrease. So, any questions from the public? Council?
You work with a lot, you head the kind of association of them. When we see these decreases, is that just what the contracts are, you'll get whatever my rate is?
Well, with Jefferson, the contract is the same. They have went to a fire debt fund.
Okay.
They had to borrow
Borrow money.
money to keep moving. So they're going to get fire debt money, but that would enable them to reduce the.
Reduce their other one and they're gonna use,
But they're going to get the same amount of money.
okay.
Madison Township has an increase in their budget from 52,055 to 58,025. Biggest increase is in general, and I reviewed that and it seems to be in the trustee and also the assistant. And I think in the advisory, all three of those were those increases come from. It's open to the public. Council, not, budget's been reviewed. Monroe Township budget has been reduced again. 2014, 87,705 down to 72,945. The biggest decrease is township assistance, higher again, and cume fire. Those have been the decreases. Open to the public. Yes, Steve.
That was another township that did a fire debt fund also. So they're gonna get the same money, it's just coming from a different fund, is why the firefighting fund budget.
Okay.
What did you say the total budget was?
87,705 was last year, and it's been reduced to 72,945.
Okay, there might be an error there because the publicized budget for 15 is 76,945.
Should I make any modifications? What'd you say that was?
76,945.
And that's
Publicized as maximum, but
That's a $4,000 difference.
And it could be a gateway entry.
right, it could be.
All right, could we check that out? Council, should we go ahead and sign this thing, or should we hold it off to the side?
Hold off to the side.
All right,
Decrease it to that.
all right.
Do a separate motion.
Pierce Township. This has had a decrease from 2014, from 85,475 to, no, it's been an increase. Here, I'm reading this one, okay. Increase from 85,475, increase to 88,275. There looks like there's a little bit of, about $1,000 in general. Little bit increase in township assistance, some increase, fire, cume fire, and a little bit of increase. So, open to the public. Council. Budget been reviewed. Hulk. This is one that's increased significantly. 2014 was 83,501. Proposed budget is 145,880. They've got a rainy day fund that's different than last year's. General is up a little bit, not much. The big difference in this is that they moved their cume fire from $9,371 to $65,000. Steve, are they looking at buying a fire truck?
Yes, they're in the process of doing that. Pierce Township is doing an additional appropriation to match them since it's a Pierce Public Fire Department.
Okay. So we'll see similar to that. Don't see that, I don't see that, Pierce.
Well, it's in the process right now,
Okay,
but he's gonna do the additional for this year. It'll be out of this year's budget. And Junior's gonna move some money around to pay for his this year.
All right. Public, vote. Council, and none. Budget been reviewed. What's the prognosis of Monroe?
I'm showing on Gateway it's 17,945.
Is that gonna be a problem or issue, Steve?
No, for the simple fact, and Mark can correct me, what's in Gateway is what it is. And
If he's made a mistake, he's gonna have to live with the mistake. Maybe he determined he didn't need it or something.
he's and she, but
Or she, I don't know.
she's just gonna have to live with it. That's what's in Gateway is what it is.
Okay,
It's too late to change it
Change
now.
it now.
all right, we're moving to Posey. And that budget has been reduced. Our Posey's budget was in 2014, 106,536. And proposed budget for this next coming year is 103,920. There has been significant changes. I did see that the proposed levy didn't have a certified levy on township assistance of last year, but it's got a proposed levy of 14.4 on it for this year. So that's one significant thing I've seen. Everything else seems to be fairly intact. There is a reduction in that budget. Public? Council? Budget has been reviewed. Vernon Township, increase, last year's was 31,065, proposed budget is 34,315. Increase in township assistance, $200 in general, and they do have a line item for rainy day fund. That's the significant changes in that. Public, council, budget been reviewed. Washington Township has an increase in their budget. Last year's was 266,619. Proposed budget is 271,231. General has moved up by about $3,000 or $2,500. I see. Township assistance has been lowered by about $1,500. Fire has been increased about $4,200, and King Fire is the same. Public, council, saying none, budget's been reviewed. in the townships. With that, the townships have been reviewed and that for non-binding purposes. We'll entertain a motion to approve from the council. Jonathan Spalding has made the motion. Do I have a second? Ben Bowling has made the second. It's open for discussion. Seeing none, we'll take this to a vote. All in favor, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same. Motion carried. Thank you. Yeah. Bill, I'm gonna open it up. I know we got a public hearing for, on the other budget, but right now, you've got a conflict, so Bill, could you come up and give your call? Thank you. Yeah, I've already got some of those too, yeah. Bill has been in front of the commissioners, and we've kind of asked him, as for the council and the commissioners, to kind of look at, maybe looking at digitizing some of our government process, and as far as our papers and budgets, and kind of modernizing us a little bit as far as how we have our information, how information comes into us with our emails and with our business of the government. Also, kind of putting the toolbox together with on computers where all the county government businesses that enhance access to us for a council. One of the thought processes was to, as elected official for the county council and commissioner, come in, there'd be assigned a laptop with that information, with an email that is proprietary to the county, not so much to your name, but as to your representation to your constituents. So, like District 1 commissioner would have an email for District 1. District 2, same thing, and same thing for council and at large would be designated as large too. So with that, Bill, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, so there's 3 items on this quote. The first, I guess we'll talk about the laptops first. That's the last item. We've got 10 laptops for each of the council and commissioners. Microsoft Office, Word and Excel, so you can look at reports, make adjustments, query the county information. I also, which I did not include last time, I included this time, is a backpack to carry laptops. I don't know, I left that off, but it's a nice backpack with shielding and stuff so the laptop doesn't get broken. That's laptops. I guess moving our way up, I changed from a big screen TV to show information when you're in sessions. You can show PowerPoints or Excels, and everybody look at the same information. We had a big screen TV. I switched it to a projector. It's one of the brightest ones I could find, so I don't think we'll have problems with the lighting, etc. I did not include a screen. So more than likely, we'll be able to do it without a screen. Just shooting at the wall, it should be bright enough. But if we wanted to add a screen or it wasn't bright enough, the screen is probably between $500 and $1,000. I thought it might be nice to have a screen. You can have a screen that's also a whiteboard. Then you can use it as a whiteboard to draw on it and brainstorm and do things. but I also use it as a projector. That being said, regarding the projector, I'm thinking about mounting it somewhere above my head here, and then possibly being able to swivel it. So we could shoot here maybe most of the time, but there might be some scenarios where we want it here. We can have that manual, just a 90-degree option. Problem is, it's got to be the same distance from this one as to that one. So it's not going to be in the middle of either wall that way. If you wanted to have it in the middle, then we can't do the corner. That's the screen. And then the top line item is a video recording system. So it's a network video recorder, 2 cameras, and also an external microphone to record meetings in this room. So any county official business will be able to record that as one full video and then publish it to our website.
Okay.
That being said, I put the subtotals on there. There is a $1,400 reoccurring charge to manage those videos. To make the file, upload it to the website, and make it accessible to people.
And that's an annual service maintenance to do that, right?
Correct.
Okay. Council, got any questions?
Well, yes, I have one on the laptops. You're doing 10 at $688 each.
Yes, sir.
What kind of laptop are we getting there for $688? I mean, what kind of?
I don't have the specs on it. I could look them up, but it's i5 processor, a nice Dell, good warranty. Yeah, I'd say not residential brand, but business grade.
And what's the lifetime of this?
I'd say any laptop, no matter what it is, the small laptop batteries are good, or laptop hard drives are good for 2 to 3 years. I've got a drawer full of them at my office. So they can last 5 years, but generally speaking, a laptop hard drive, 3 years, 4 years, or probably less. Yeah, probably 3 years. Now, you guys probably won't use them that often, and we probably get more than that. But generally speaking, a laptop hard drive is 3 years, computer hard drive, maybe 4 years. And you should be able to use these for at least 3 years.
Okay.
You know, possibly 5 years. And it does have a 3-year warranty for it. Commissioner asked possibly having you could have a laptop that folds over and have a touchscreen, turn it into a tablet. That's probably $250 more each. So we're at about $1,000. So I don't think you guys need that. I think you just need to look for, Excel and play with the buttons.
So, will this work with the lab?
Yes,
Wow.
yeah. Plan is for the auditor's office to create reports, create Excels, or budgets, whatever you guys ask for, and then you take them and look at them and sort it and filter it. If you wanted to look at the expenses of this and that, you can sort it and select different expenses. So you can do a lot of analysis with that. I had talked about when we get the laptops, I'll have probably at least 2 training sessions if we need more, just to get you guys up to speed on how to operate and how we're going to be saving documents and sharing documents and just probably a general Excel 101 class. Let you guys.
How, like, the meeting here today,
Yep.
how often will it be downloaded?
My goal is within the end of the day, within 24 hours for sure. Depending, because if there's a late meeting or an easy meeting, I'd say within the next day, that meeting should be
So like,
posted online.
the handbook, the budget, they can all be downloaded to
Yeah.
our,
Any papers you got from the county can all be digitized.
Council, questions? I got a question from the audience. I'm going to receive Rhonda.
Costs. I'd like to figure out, you said 658 for the laptops each. What's the projector? $1,000 for a screen is kind of like stiff, and I don't understand. I do know technical stuff, and I do know the prices on them. What are the prices that you're proposing? If I could ask.
We have a proposed budget right here. I mean, as far as a proposal on quote right here.
Right. So what is he quoting, and why hasn't this been opened up maybe to other organizations too? But what is he asking for as far as the price for a projector, that kind of thing?
The projector. No.
Yeah, the projector I got at $1,699.
$1,699? Okay. And the screen is $1,000.
Well,
If you get a
well,
screen,
well,
if you get a screen.
Yeah, generally, if you look at a screen, they're $500 on up. You know, depending for a good screen. You can get a screen for $100, but a good, decent screen with a whiteboard, probably at least $500. And if we say 7-footer, it could be, so just ballpark-ish, $500 to $1,000.
And the cameras, you have 2 cameras in here. Would they be standardized, or what would they be?
Full motion, pan, tilt, zoom, infrared, IP cameras.
So $1,400 to process it. Is that a year or is that a month?
That's a year.
Year, okay.
Byron, you had a question?
Yeah, you mentioned the fact that you would be, have access to the auditor's office, but would it be possible to have access to any government? In other words, if you want to talk to the clerk's office or any of the rest of them, could you do that through this? Is that going to be set up that way, or is every one of them individual?
So we're not setting up remote access into the company's or the county systems. Okay, so what we're doing is we're giving each of the members reports and data from each of the offices. So the clerk could give a report in Excel or some kind, or an assessor could give them reports and they could view them on their laptops and do analysis that way.
But during the meeting, for instance,
No.
excuse me, would they not, not be able to access a question or?
Oh, you're talking about during a meeting, like video?
Well, if David had a question with one of the offices, would he be able, if I asked him that question, would he be able to access that office and answer?
Through
what you're offering here?
Yeah, I guess through email.
Yeah.
Or, I
We
think
can do that. We got that accessibility now.
Well, another thing, I mean, sitting here, and I've always felt like this, one of the things I think would be beneficial to the commissioners and the council is to have a type of a PA system where you can hear. I mean, you're talking about laptops and all that, and I don't know how much you're actually going to use those, but I think for Ben to talk, let's say, since you were just talking, for me to hear you back here, I think the public is entitled to hear what the conversation without that. And I know it's like in the city, everybody has a microphone there. So that, and then yourself, the guest, so that they can speak and people can hear them. I like to see the council and the commissioners have that set up to where every member has a microphone so that the public can sit on the back row of this and actually hear, not misunderstanding what's actually being said.
We could do something like that. It's like very similar to what's in the courthouse or in the courtrooms.
I think that would be
amplify speakers
and more serviceable than maybe what all y'all are talking about. I don't know how much you're going to use all this that you're proposing here.
Well, Byron, go back to the questions in there. is that in budget hearing stuff, we've got a new LOW package that allows us a lot more interactive access to see a lot of different things happening out. And unless you have this book, you know, the budget, and even with that book, with this book, it's not interactive. You know, it's very stagnant. And so what we looked at, and I'm kind of looking at, public looking at this through the budget process, can't see what we're seeing even with a stagnant book in there, that they allow them to participate in the system too and actually see line items and understand the budget from our perspective of what we're looking at. And especially when we make changes, or we want to do a percentage change on a particular thing, and have that changes. Even if we do that, Michelle has those capabilities with the software, but we still have to do a voice command to everybody to make their changes on their budget.
I understand. My question was, it's just the accessibility to other government identities through this program that you're gonna install here for them.
Pam, you had a question?
I think too, this is something to eliminate paper. And that's another issue where you don't have to have so much paperwork and everything on the screen. I think that's a lot of it right there.
And it'd be immediate too, once the change happens, you all give it a way to pick up the report and have it delivered.
I mean, we've got a budget here of about 85 or 90 pages in that. We make changes and that we make those changes in there to have most current. We either got to put in an individual item or it's got to be reprinted out and stuff. But we do gain a lot of different information. It's just a way for us to enhance for the public to see a little bit more of what we're doing with the budgets and that, especially on the council level. I'm going to say that. Plus, I think that there's another thing that will make a benefit is as we go through those budgets, we see those monthly statements in there. It gives the commissioners an on-point guidance as far as what their line items are too. So I think there's a benefit of that. Awesome.
Well, the same thing as we've all tried to find handbooks and paperwork and everything to get up to speed. But as we leave office, as time goes on, the computer already being set up, added to, and be passed on to the next elected official. So it gives, I think that we're moving on up the ladder. As far as the projection and that, right now, we've Rhonda with Indiana Proud is getting a one shot there. But the question from Byron was no longer on there. And the voice is down too. And I think it gives, it's not Republican, Democrat, or Libertarian, or anybody else. It's free, so everybody who wants to go on the computer tonight or this afternoon and watch the video of what government's doing will know. And it's not no one select group.
It's being broadcast right now live. And I'm doing that with a $150 camera and a free download on Wirecast. It's on YouTube, it's on Facebook, it's on the front page of Indiana Proud, and I'm doing it all with my laptop. I'm really concerned if you get a bunch of toys. I'm fine with the laptops, but if you get a bunch of toys that you don't know how to use and really aren't functional, I'm really concerned about that. But, that's up to you. That's up to you. But that's what's happening right here and right now.
Any questions for Bill as we go in there? I think this, we're getting a lot of paper. We need to get some more concise so we can get these files, ordinances, handbooks. We keep talking about those things. And that's the reason I've asked Bill, in the process of this, is to get it compiled in a toolbox for commissioners and council members to have the information there, and then bringing us into a class in there to how to utilize them so we can pull that stuff up and file a report. Michelle's already taken WOW and used it in a format to Excel. Then puts kind of a firewall in between WOW and there that we can actually make some changes or graphs or whatever we want to do with the budget in that format, so we can kind of tinker with some figures to see what ifs. So, any other questions for the council? Yes.
Bill, if nothing else we'll need with these laptops, I mean, there will be firewalls directed.
Yep. Antivirus will be there, there will be a firewall. The one thing that you might want is a wireless mouse. I mean, $20 each, we can do them separately, or I can include that for everybody, but, other than that, I think it's all there. I think it's just gonna be training and baby steps, and, you know, after a few times and classes, so some good value, and you guys will be able to see things that you've never seen before.
Okay. Council, thoughts? Do you want to take it under advisement? We've got commissioners, we're in a joint meeting today.
I think it's important that we move forward with technology because, you know, the public is demanding that for us. And, you know, it's like our new software that we have, we're not really being able to utilize that unless we personally have access by our own equipment to do it. I just think this is put us on a better platform where everyone knew and could see what's going on, and it'd be more immediate, and should be a big saver as far as time and paper, especially, because we have, I don't know, all the rest of them are just the same as I am. I've got a room that's stacked with papers, you know, from the years that I've been on here. You know, you go to look for something, it becomes a real chore. And it's so much faster and more accessible electronically.
Well, one of the questions that come to my mind is first ask about cost. Can you hear me?
Yes, good.
Oh, I'm talking about my friend. I like that sound system deal you're talking about. Trust me. But, I've got this, thing of promotion here. Surface that we get $350 for. It comes with Excel, it comes with this, it comes with that. I get all my PDFs, and I think Val's all converted to Excel anyway, isn't it? Yeah, pretty much. So I guess my question is, I'd like to kind of take this, or statement, forget question, kind of take this under advisement, and we kind of look at some different modes. Because I don't know, you know, this got quite a little bit of storage and stuff on it also. And if they're only good for 3 years, you know, I just kind of question some of them cost factors myself, like I say. I worked off this day's $350. You know, so, do we need a laptop? Do we need a tablet? What do we need? I think we need a little more discussion about what we might need, a little more research. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, Bill. The only thing I'd say, difference between a tablet or a Surface, center that with a laptop is screen size. The screen size will get bigger. Maybe an option for a 10 pad, you know, the number pad on the side of the keyboard. Another thing, I think once I know the new Surface are more expensive than the laptop.
Oh, man.
Well, they do, but they have different levels and et cetera. But if you were to add a regular keyboard, and then, you know, that's probably gonna be another $100.
It's $100 an hour.
Right.
I don't need it. I don't need it. I got it thinking I would need it, but pretty much got everything I need right here. USB port and all that stuff.
Yeah, and that could be an option, and whichever you guys think would work better, right? You know, I could definitely quote you Surfaces also. I could.
Well, the only reason I like the Surface is I'm doing my promotion. It already comes with Windows, Microsoft, and all that stuff on it.
Yeah.
And I'm accustomed to some of that stuff anyway.
Yeah.
You know, as far as that goes. And it had a USB port, or if I wanted to download, you know, to a thumb drive, I could transfer and all that.
And I was not aware that a Surface would come with Microsoft Office. I thought you always had to buy those separately.
The bigger one you do,
Yeah.
the more expensive surfaces.
Yeah.
You do, which makes no sense, but like the one he has, like the 1 and 2, come with it.
And maybe different versions.
Yeah, they're different.
Well, you may get different pictures, and I'm thinking for
What you
for
need.
what we're gonna use it for, I don't know.
Maybe a year.
We need to go beyond that, I mean, that's my question.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
I think it is a temporary year service.
It's
With
not
Get
on,
A free
it's not on
service for a
the,
year.
it's not on, my girls both have one in college, and it's not on theirs.
Okay.
All right, we're supposed to have a public hearing. I wanted to have Bill do his presentation now from that. We can go ahead and table this discussion and go ahead with our binding reviews and that. Is there any, do you want to give Bill direction to maybe take a look at this? Would you want to make that a motion?
Well, I think that's what I've done, make a motion that we research it.
Do we have a
Bill,
second?
what research I'm on.
Do we have a second on that? Gerald Fleming's made a second on that. And, so for discussion, for one thing in that is that a lot of us are using our private, computers and our private emails at this point in that, and I think that we've been through an open door, law meeting in that, where we had a lot of discussion of different things. And I think that we need to make some separation from private business to what our county business is, especially on emails as far as email that maybe Washington County District 1, you know, the commissioner, those type of things are issues that we still need to address when we go with the modernized equipment. So we've got a lot of tiers of things that we need to do to get, make us more modernized and also to keep us, keeping our privacy of our businesses and our private stuff separated from county business too. So if the motion that's on the floor is for us to go ahead and give additional, give Bill the latitude to go ahead and bring us more information before us and stuff. So with that, is there any more discussion?
I think it would be nice to have a couple of different options, you know, this may be the better option, where, you know, Bill can give us an option with just tablets, look at what we're losing with cheaper option, then and maybe give us three different price, less expensive. Anyway, something that's, yeah.
All right.
I'll be glad to do that, I'll put together a laptop, a tablet option, and also.
And do we wanna segregate this out and pull the laptops off and take a look at the rest of this? I mean, I'm sitting here talking about the laptops and we got other ones on here.
We can go ahead with the other two pieces.
What's your thoughts on that?
Well, we need to take care of this, well.
Okay, we got a motion on the floor for
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
And let's go ahead and let's go into buying reviews, we can come back. Yeah,
Right, because I've got some more, I think, on this.
It's fine with me.
you want to table this
Take
thing?
this,
We're gonna table it for more information. Okay? All right. Second on that?
There is,
Okay.
yeah, and I agree with that. We'll go ahead and vote, but there's one other thing I want to bring up.
All right.
And that is, I really think that we ought to go ahead and have him, for both the commissioners and the council, set up our email addresses that are county email addresses.
Yeah, I will.
Even for us to use right now.
Right.
And that can be converted right over, but I think that needs to be done immediately so we can, be in contact properly and everything.
First,
I'd like to make that.
first motion in there is the table for additional information, and then we'll take that to a vote. All in favor of tabling for more information, signify by raising your hand. Right? All opposed, same. Now, your motion
I have a
is,
motion to go ahead and have emails set up for both the commissioners, or all three of the commissioners, and all council members.
all right. Do we have a
The
second?
attorneys. Okay.
Second? John Merrill, second. It's open for discussion. Seeing none, we'll take it to a vote. All in favor, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same. Been passed. All right, Bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
You got,
All right.
you got questions. You know when find.
You want a copy of this?
Get hold of David or
Robbie, you want a copy?
Yes, I would.
What is it that they want or stuff like that, so
That would be peachy. Thank you.
you don't have to find it.
All right, very good. We're into, I'm sorry about the delay, but for time, you get everybody around. Our budget, public hearing, supposed to start at 10, we're at 10:45. Let's go ahead and, open it up for the budget public hearing for Blue River Fire District, then first. All right, we're gonna start with Delaney Creek Conservancy. The Conservancy, and then, their budget is 63,100.
This is the
General budget is at 17,000. $46,000 is the CUME maintenance on the channel. So a significant part of the Delaney Conservancy District is channel maintenance. It's open for discussion from the public and council. Are there anybody from public that want to address this? Is there Delaney?
I'm in the conservancy part, but, I don't quite understand, like, and maybe you can explain this to me, like on our taxes.
Yes.
We pay a conservancy on our taxes. And when we bought our house 15 years ago, it was $6. Now it's like $50 or $60. Why is there such an increase on the conservancy for Delaney Creek?
Well, for one, at one time, there wasn't much being done, you know, as far as the dams and cleaning. And I'll say this in reference to my past being on the Soil and Water Conservation District. In fact, a few years ago, there was very stagnant fund that wasn't doing hardly any maintenance on the dams as far as cleaning them off. And the problem with that is that a lot of the dams become high hazard dams because of the vegetation that come on that actually raise the cost of actually the dam inspections on there. And some of the dams, in different degrees, people built below those dams.
That's what I was told, that people were building in the flood zones.
And they were, and then that made a dam that was not of a huge significance become a public safety instance where it brought up higher dam maintenance inspections. So it's a little bit of a two-tier process. I will tell you that you've got a good, bad, and different. You've got a group that's actually working, trying to catch back up, which with that is increased some of your costs that you see as far as maintenance, which showed up in your tax. So that kind of gives you a thumbnail synopsis of what happened.
How do you get involved with that? The people that meet and.
They're supposed to have posted
I
meetings.
would contact Andrew Wright, he is the attorney for Delaney Creek Conservancy.
Yeah, and I recommend that people that are involved in those taxing districts to become involved not only in the meetings, but also in maybe as far as leadership.
Yeah. But that's what I was told, that a lot of people were building in places they shouldn't be building. And that was always a question I had, was why were we allowing that, I guess?
Well, we didn't have a plan commission or
Somebody tell them not to.
That's right. Okay, explanation on that. Thank you for your comments. Council, anything okay? Moving on to Blue River Fire Protection District. General fund is at 71,000. Their CUME fire is at 16,000. The total unit budget is $87,000. Public? Brown. Anybody from Blue River? Yes.
I don't have a comment unless you've got a question.
This is basically, okay.
The Cume Fund is down because they don't have any money in Cume Fund. Other than that, it's the same.
Is this the new hall? Yeah, this is, the new firehouse is involved in this budget too.
Just the payment,
All right,
and it comes out of the general fund.
correct.
There's no fire debt for it.
And the payment is 14,700 a year. Oh, that's for lease payment of fire trucks. Okay, new building, $16,000. That's what it is. Capital outlays, your payment, $16,000. Okay. Questions? Addressed to Steve? Not? Council? Ron? She said to rate this one over to Cole's ball.
All right.
This is Brown Fire Department. And then, general on the fire is $99,759. You got anything that you would like to address as far as anything new or what's going on with Brown Vernon?
We did finally get rid of our large cash balance by purchasing a truck. We finished our fleet, and so we're on a 20-year retirement on our trucks. So our next truck will be purchased in 2017, be a rescue truck. We haven't had we've had probably $1,500 increase this year over last year. The last 5 years, we kept our budget the same, exactly the same. So we're in good shape.
All right. Any questions from the public? Public hearing? Council? If none, thank you. Washington County Solid Waste, I see Tammy here to address any questions. And then the lines, solid waste management have a published budget of $925,040. And then, Tammy, is there anything particular you want to address?
Well, it's up $9,900 from last year. That's because we're buying a new piece of equipment this year, or in 2015. That was paid off in 2014. So that helped with some of the increase.
Okay. Public, have anything to address? Council, questions? And this was the second, basically the equipment is pretty up to date right now, right? Okay? All right. Not?
Even once that's the budget changes, do you all want them to?
All right, we're open up to
Why don't you go first? Members of the public, if there are any questions about that. And then address that.
all right. Does the public have any, this will open public hearing also for the county budget. Does the public have anything they want to specifically address on the county budget? As posted. I will say that we looked at this thing. It's some of the big issues that we looked at on this was what we could do with personnel, with wages, and also with health insurance. And we kind of had to weigh those things out. Each department head, and I will commend them, have worked diligently over the last 3 years to make their budgets pretty frugal as far as their costs. And that last year was kind of heart-wrenching and gut-wrenching for all of us in government, what we had to do with health insurance and that process. We was kind of pushed into a corner of kind of making the decisions that didn't make us feel very good, in that by the physical aspects of what the county, what we were faced with. I think we made a proper decision. We decided to look at reopening up the health insurance and that package, and I think the commissioner has been diligent, and we have been well pleased that the county government, the county has been looked at the insurance and on our rates more favorably this year. So I think we're going to be able to put a project in the budget. We've allocated a certain amount of money per individual that we see that we can utilize in that budget. So, Byron?
Yeah, and I'm glad to see they're gonna get their benefits back. I know it's unfortunate that they lost them. The question I have is, last year, you didn't feel like you could afford it. And from my understanding, you probably have more employees at this time than you had a year ago. And you had to, no longer were given them longevity and all. If I haven't had a raise in several years that I know of, where are you gonna get this money? I mean, how did you, from 1 year, you couldn't do it, and now suddenly, with a larger enrollment, you feel like that you can give back insurance plus longevity and possibly a raise? I mean, as I understand it, you're in the red and have been for quite some time. Where is this money coming from? I mean, is it gonna be taxes, or where's it coming from that you feel? And I'm glad, again, as I say, I'm glad you feel like you're able to, but I'm just concerned about where it's coming from.
Well, for one, we've got a growth quotient, from the state, and then plus our health insurance, but we were self-insured. And not only was what we were paying, but it was on top of that, and that was increasing our load. We were ending up with about $650,000 to $700,000 that was basically appropriated in budget for health insurance that was hitting us every year, and that it kind of ballooned out of the scheme of a budget. And since we were self-insured, we were obligated for those funds, and that with with the health insurance that we're looking at right now, we are trying to put in an amount per person that we will contribute. We are a contributor to the health insurance. We are not the full burden of the insurance, especially when it goes to families and to that. So we kind of set an amount in there, and help me with the words in there is what we
Actually, our expenses of this health insurance, if we lost the money was there. The claim has been paid out, and now we're going back to using that same money. Clear, I think the money was there.
It'll be, Byron, I think, this is public hearing, you made a good question. In October, we'll have to make a decision, and one of the things that we've got two commissioners here today, they will need, in October meeting, to give the council some real hard figures as to what that is. But to come more directly to answering your question, part of the process is we're switching some funds by the public safety fund that freed up some of the general fund. Hopefully, good or bad, not having the insurance for the year will affect our rating, and that will affect our premium, and we're hoping to in essence, gain some savings from that. Going from a self-insured plan back to what you and I would think is a more traditional plan of insurance. Hopefully, we'll be able to save some of that. There's no guarantee that the employee's going to get longevity and bonus. I think the council wants to do that, but again, depending on what the commissioners tell us when we adopt the budget in October, may very well affect that in what those figures are. Because, and again, depending on what they tell us about that in October, we at least at the budget hearing, we were told that the penalty is more expensive than not doing the insurance. In other words, you know, we can't economically afford to incur the penalty because our insurance cost would be cheaper than what the penalty is. So we've got to go into an insurance plan. And who we insure will be part of that.
That was gonna be my next question. Are you only intending on insuring employees, not families?
Well,
Well,
we don't.
and that's.
Be quiet, be quiet.
Okay.
Council is telling you to be quiet. That's not, we're public hearing. I'm not trying to be difficult. That's not been presented to us from the commissioners yet. And I'm not trying to play games. It's just not the right time for us to answer that question because that's not been told to us yet. There has been that discussion. And yes, there's been that discussion. I'm not trying to be mean to you or anything.
Been there, done that.
You're right. It's just not the right time for us to answer that question because it's not been given to us.
I have a question too, as an employer and as the public. I understand, I mean, a lot of people were really upset when you guys took the benefits away. But I have a couple of concerns. One is if you are able to get a plan and you're telling people that you have 150 people to take this plan, you may only have 90 people to take this plan. So if that's the case, are the premiums going to go up from there? And, you know, is a lot of people that got switched over to Obamacare or whatever they had to do to get switched over, they don't want to go from, okay, 1 year we're going to do this, but then next year, okay, that didn't work, so we're going to have to go back. Going back and forth, I think, is more of a headache than what we did last year. And then I think there are some people too that benefited from what you guys did because Washington County is probably low on the totem pole when it comes to paying their employees. And then on the longevity, on the highway aspect of it, me doing the budget and things like that, where I feel like the highway gets cheated out is we don't get the same money that the courthouse and other people in the county do. We're kind of like the solid waste where we're getting money from MVH and different things like that. So like last year, we had the money to give our employees the longevity. We had the money, or we have the money this year to give our employees raises. I mean, we're talking, we've got guys that have been there for 15 and 20 years and they're making $13 an hour compared to guys that have come in the last 3 months that are making $13 an hour. I think there ought to be a scale there for what they're making. I don't think my job and Billy's job, it should be on the same scale rate as some of the people in the courthouse. So there's a lot of issues there I feel like that needs to be addressed as far as the highway is concerned, as far as the health insurance and the longevity.
Yeah. Again, I'm not trying to be mean, I'm not trying to act like we're building a wall, this is the public hearing. Yeah,
On the insurance part of it, I've got a meeting tomorrow on the insurance, and then in October, we will know more. But right now, our hands are tied us to give them any honest answer.
Right.
On that part.
I mean, I think that what you would go to public is that we're still working hard on putting an insurance package together and looking at longevity and looking also as a package, but when it comes down to the budget, those are the items that we come down to really work with and crunch. And that's where we're at right now. So, any other public comments?
The difference between the highway money and the county money, you know,
They need to be addressed.
always a ton more.
And you know,
And with the solid waste.
And I'll make a remark back is that, you know, the courthouse and, you know, we've tried to, we've had negotiations, we've had people from the courthouse come in, you know, and they want us to treat all the county employees equal. So that's where your longevity in there, even though you had a different revenue fund that you were coming out of, they wanted everybody to be treated the same. So in that, the longevity was an issue in there. If the longevity was taken away in the courthouse, they wanted to take it away from all county employees. So that's where that comes from. Right, wrong, or indifferent, that's the way those things end up. I know that leaves
I still
a
don't
sour,
like it.
that leaves a
Yeah.
sour taste in the mouth.
I still think it needs, it does need to be addressed down the road.
All right, any other questions for this public hearing? Yeah, Steve?
This is for Michelle. Gateway's got its own signature page for the, like, Blue River Fire District. Do you think the council needs to sign that for the ordinance, adoption ordinance, or do you think what they've signed would work?
Should be what they've signed. I've talked with Kim about it, so it should be.
Sure.
It should be. I mean, Kim, we had this discussion with Kim that day.
About what to sign in terms of the binding,
What to upload.
All right.
or good or bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's telling you all.
Anything else?
Well, there's some issues about.
Yes, we got, what is it, EMS?
I circled where you're changing.
All right, EMS has a amendment to their budget in there, and they've made some changes. If you've got your budgets, turn to, what page is that on? What is 55?
You all had your laptops. Right next to you.
Doing real well.
That's pretty
Yeah.
Now we're going.
55. Do you want the 911?
No.
No.
EMS.
EMS.
Ambulance service.
Ambulance.
It's not, whose is not the ambulance? Desi doesn't have anything to do with the.
No, we're not talking about
Oh,
that.
This is EMS.
Oh, sorry, let's see, and that is, no,
No, it's.
67.
Emergency medical.
All right, 67. All right, these are the proposed changes in there. Starting up with director, okay? You might want to make these changes on your forms as you go through, all right? Director from 44,772 to 40,545. Supervisors, an increase from 123,680 to 127,006. Paramedics from an increase from 156,424 to 160,535. EMT advanced, an increase from 155,720 to 156,720. EMT basic, a decrease from 27,336 to 24,985. Part-time director relief, an increase from 14,560 to 17,947. Now skip down to vacation. Vacation increase from 17,376 to 17,899. FICA, an increase from 52,000 to 53,180. HERD, an increase from 56,888 to 62,726. Next following page. Medical equipment maintenance, a reduction from 12,000 to 10,000. Telephone, couple lines down, an increase from 8,000 to 10,574. Advertising and printing, a decrease from 5,000 to 4,000. Couple lines down to utilities, a decrease from 15,000 to 5,639. Going on down a couple more lines to vehicle maintenance, from a decrease from 25,000 to 22,000. And that's all the changes,
So, the same amount of money.
same amount of money.
That's what's before.
Okay. Now, with that, is there any more public comments in the public hearing? None, I'll close the public hearing. At this, do I need a motion to do that? Go ahead and make it official.
Before
Yes.
we close, I wanted to just bring up, mostly because Steve's here and some other folks from the township and whatnot are here. But last meeting, Rick Stewart come in with Salem Animal Control and basically said that in 2016, he's wanting more money from the counties. And he's wanting more money from the county for animal control because he says about 60–70% of the expenses, the way he sees it is his animals coming in from the county into the city. So one thing we suggested to him is maybe that he get out there and talk to you guys at your township meetings. I guess the question I would have is, has he made contact with you to try to come to some of your meetings?
No, he has not come to our meeting, but I had a meeting with him and the mayor, and we also talked about it at the trustee meeting. We think, the trustees thinks 90% of the dogs picked up in the county come from the city originally. And so therefore, we feel like this dog problem is a city problem, not a county problem. And therefore, we have no extra funds coming in to take care of these dogs anyway.
Right. Well, I mean, I think they're just, I hesitate to even bring it up, but this is a good opportunity for us to talk with you about it because they're wanting more assistance from the county. And kind of my feeling is too that most of the animals that get dumped in the county originate from right here in the city. So
I agree. 90% of it.
I think we had this ongoing discussion on this for several years.
Okay, you can close that now.
All right. If not, John Reynolds made a motion to close the public hearing. Do I have a second? Bill Fleming. It's open for discussion. Seeing none, all in favor of closing the public hearing, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same. Motion carried. Thank you very much. Very good comments, okay, from everybody involved. I appreciate, Steve, what you do with your trustees, and I appreciate the trustees coming in and giving us an update on that. I think it's very good. I make the gesture in there about non-binding review, but we still have to do that to make it legal so that you can get your budget approved and therefore the process for you to get it done. So I appreciate that and all the work that the county trustees and also township people do. Awesome. Very good. We're at 10:50. We were supposed to have a computer proposal, 11 o'clock, Dana Muntz from St. Vincent. I don't see her here.
I'll send that up, Rockwood. Friday, we have a dog out in Hidden Creek, it's like an auction. She probably pretty good at that, so I'll send that to Rockwood.
All right. ABC board appointment, where you have a resignation to ABC.
That's correct. I was contacted him about the blue. I'm sorry, I didn't bring the message. Gentleman was apparently our appointment, contacted me and said he was on the ABC board, he wanted to resign, he was told to contact me, and I checked with Michelle, and he was our appointment, so he's resigned. We need to make another appointment. So,
That is good.
yes, that was Jeff Curley, Jeff Curley.
Yeah, Jeff Lee. All right, does anybody have from the council, anybody in mind? Or do we need to search? Gerald?
I haven't got mine. Yes,
Okay.
I want to make sure he knows he's in my mind.
Okay,
But I think we'll
all right.
Table it and bring it
Table
in
until the
October.
next.
I'll bring it to you in October.
Then when we ask Marcia to, advertise, I'm looking for something.
Yeah, ABC appointment.
We normally meet.
I think they only meet when they have licenses to be renewed and to act on. Then they post their meeting, so.
As needed in the basement.
Right, they do meet in the basement, that's right.
One there.
So, no,
All right, very good.
they check on him and bring him. So just show that, table one with Michelle, make sure it's on the.
Next order of business, transfers. I do, someplace in here. First thing in the transfers we have in front of us, Public Defender's Office. They want to switch $800 from depositions to office supplies. Do we have a motion to accept the transfer? Gerald Fleming, do I have a second? Second. Dawson Souter, it's open for discussion. Seeing none, we'll take the vote. All in favor, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same, motion carried. Second one is from 911 Director. And that, hey, this is a, move some funds from category 3. I don't know what's the narrative of that particular fund. Office supplies, and this is to go to part-time help, is that right?
It's from training.
Training, it's from training. Go toward part-time help, and it says, I would like to request this money be moved to help cover the part-time help that we have needed in order to have all dispatcher shift covered during this period of employee maternity leave, training, a new hire, vacation request, and sick days needed. So this is a transfer of $3,100. Do I have a motion to approve? Jonathan Spaulding made a motion to approve. Do I have a second? John Reynolds, second. It's open for discussion. Seeing none, take this to a vote. All in favor, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same. Motion carried. Transferred one thing, order of business. This is appropriation.
It's appropriation.
Okay. Oh, additional appropriations, from the Riverboat Revenue Fund. And the commissioners are requesting for paving the additional appropriations from the Riverboat Revenue Fund of $300,000 to go towards paving. It's open. Council? That fund,
What additional are you paying $300,000? It's just,
300,000, I know for each district, which is badly needed.
question that I have on the paving is I've heard about so many dead-end roads being paved over the last couple of years. You know, and I'm just curious as to why we're paving so many dead-end roads. Now we're asking for, pardon me?
We didn't know we were. Which ones are you talking about?
Well, like Rush Creek Cemetery Road.
That lady, I can tell you about her. I've been with the highway 7 years. She calls constantly. The road is so bad, it was paving in places. The potholes were so bad that, we were spending more money in gravel and repairs than we did just to pave that piece of road.
Okay. Old Forestry, be another.
Old Forestry? Old Forestry is the same way. In the last 3 years, we've put oil on that road. We've had more complaints and more problems with oil. I mean, people calling and complaining, wanting their cars, fixed or whatever. And there's actually 18 houses on that road. It's not like there's just 2 or 3 houses. There's house after house after house on that road. And it's like almost 2 miles long as well. So what we're doing is we are actually paving a quarter of it each year. We're not paving it all at one time. We did use a new product this year. It was a water-based product instead of oil this year. It saved us almost $40,000 rather than to use the oil.
What, Coach Road?
Coates Road was basically another reason, just really, really bad. It was paved at one time, but it had gone back so bad. I think they even chipped and sealed it at one time. But yeah, they repaired that.
Like First Street in Canton?
First Street in Canton, I don't know about that one.
That was only paid halfway. It's not dead end. It was only paid down to
Is that where it goes into,
customer.
the body shop?
Body shop.
Starts at the body shop, comes over on the south end.
Yeah.
Nobody goes down hardly at the other end, so it's only paved down.
I think probably they might have had some extra and had to get rid of it or lose it. That might have been the issue.
Only about a half mile, I think. I remember.
Mary Road. I guess that's Mary Road's out in,
Which road?
is it Mary Road's out in District 3?
Third district.
Yeah.
It's a dead end road with,
Is there several houses on that road? 4?
Yes.
and I think one of those is actually on School Road. It faces the School Road. So probably on the 3.
Rush Creek Road past Pennington Addition.
That's not a dead end.
No,
So maybe not a dead end, but I guess Phillips Lane is another one.
there was an accident there
Mhm.
before you get that four-way stop coming in from the west side. And how much was it?
I don't know, I had to go back and look at my Excel sheet and see.
I didn't think it was even paved, just patched. I don't think that road was paved on,
Well, that road's pretty rough, wasn't it?
I mean, it's rough, I think that was for next year's.
That Phillips Lane has one house, but that's 2 districts.
That's my next one on this was Phillips Lane.
Yeah, that's one house, but part of that's in the second, part of that's in the third. The house, I think, is in the second.
Conservation Club Road, I think that was done last year or something like that.
That was something we helped them with as far as the culverts and problems, issues they had with draining.
And Sullivan Lane was another one that I had.
That's not dead. It's not dead. No, that's right through. What
60.
road?
60.
Martinsburg Road. 60. That's right. Yeah, that's a lot of houses.
How much does blacktop cost you?
Depends. Right now, they're trying to get by with doing an inch thick. It can run us 85,000 miles.
85?
Yes.
68.
Depends on how thick, what they have to do for the road, as far as the edges, how they have to slate out the edges or whatever. It can cost as much as 85,000 a mile, yes.
Well, is that what you're spending?
Well, right now, blacktop is $63.50 a ton. And it depends on how many tons you have to use on the road. I mean, it varies.
Sure.
Yeah. But I'm just saying that's the max. A lot of them have been running 65, 70, but I'm saying depending on how thick you have to make it, how wide the road is.
And that's a good mix too, right?
Yes. Good gravel. Mhm.
Quite frankly, if it's $85,000, we give them $100,000, it ain't worth it. I mean, economically, it isn't worth it, but now 60,
Back up, I mean, like what she said, she gave you a maximum
I
amount.
understand.
But on the sides, where they're trying to build the edges back up, you may put 4 inches out there, but you can only use an inch in the center. And that's gonna shove it that mile down further. It's gonna help, it's not gonna,
Band-Aid for 100,000 is good.
we was asking now that 538, 300, that'll leave 238.
That's what Harrison County gave us the money for. It was, the 2% was for.
I remember when that was first, that was supposed to go to roads, to, and then we started taking it out for other things.
We had this agreement with the mayor at the courthouse.
Remember that, John?
Found out it was for the road.
Well, I'm all about paving roads, but, I mean, I just have been making this list over the last couple of years whenever somebody gripes at me about paving a limited access road versus a main speedway.
Talk to the commissioners.
Well, and that's what I'm doing right now. They said for next time it comes up for me to talk to the commissioners about it, so that's basically what I'm doing.
Most of the thruway roads are in decent condition, but, just like Forestry Road, we've had so many issues with that road. I mean, there comes a point when you've got to make a decision, okay, over the years, am I just dumping money away trying to repair and put gravel on? And then we were spending, the oil we did try to put on that Temple's totally messed up. They put some kind of tar on that road. We ended up spending, we told them when we were paying for it, it was $8,000 just to put oil on that road. You know, we didn't pay for it because it was more like tar. It wasn't even, because we had to go by and mix it all up and take it off, and it was a big mess. But the money that we've spent probably on the last 10 years on that road, we could have paved it all. Mm-hmm.
This new mixtures help also.
Like I said, I'm not complaining about, I just want to make sure that we're using our road dollars wisely. I don't like it whenever somebody comes up and says,
Right.
what are you doing this for? I mean,
John, another thing, we sealed some of these big cracks by the turn on the line, that's helped this. About $2,000 a mile, so that's helped prolong also.
Anytime they have a question, you can have them call me, and Billy's there to answer any questions as well. I know we make a list every year the commissioners look at before we pave. They go look at the roads.
And we go drive around each district too before we decide which one we're going to pay.
Pam, I have a question. I guess I've had this for the last 4 years sitting here in that. And I know that you guys do an inventory as far as out there when roads are paved. And you're trying to make some type of prediction about when you'll have to be back in there to do that maintenance on that road, like in a repaving.
Right.
And I'd heard figures as much as 12 to 14 years before a road should have to be repaved. Thinking. Now, I don't know if that's a legitimate figure or if that's just a figure that we've heard.
It's a good estimate.
But, you know, my thing is that we have such a number of miles of road to keep inventory, and especially a significant amount of roads, paved roads, compared to gravel. Because our percentage of gravel roads is very small compared to our paved roads we've done. And the figures that you have presented to me alarm
me tremendously, especially knowing what kind of revenues are coming in about how we're going to be able to do this, and because we've got 14 years of timeline of these roads compared to the amount of roads and the amount of roads we're able to take care of in that year period, they don't match up, period, in an equation. So instead, how are we prioritizing roads? Are we prioritizing by complaints? Are we prioritizing by cost? How are we prioritizing these? Are we indexing these roads? Do we have them on a map, a GSI map, that whenever they are, that we're doing projections 1, 2, and 3, and 4 years down the road?
I have tried to, since I've been there, I've been doing that, but I've been trying to go back when I have time, which is far and few between, quite honestly, to research that to see how often they do have done the roads. I know that's one of the reasons the state gave us some extra MVH money the last year or so, to help, because it's not just us, it's other counties, but you also have to consider too, we have 800 miles of roads, and we might get a set amount of money, and Floyd County will get more money than we do, and they have less mileage of roads. So sometimes it doesn't make sense what the state does, and that's quite honest. We can all agree with that. But we have to deal with the hand that we're dealt. I personally don't have the knowledge to tell you, okay, if we pave a road, it's good for 14 years. I personally cannot tell you that. I don't know that information.
It's going to depend on the road, Dave.
How much it's used.
Wells Road is not going to last, because that's the number one county road. It's the heaviest traveled road, and that road's going to have to be redone.
Some of the roads have log trucks going through them.
That's a huge problem.
A lot of heavy weights on some of the roads that others don't have, so there's no way of really telling how long it's going to last.
It comes down to your foreman, it's going to go back to each commission, and they give us what roads they recommend for our 6 miles of rough use, or what we can blacktop. And then we come up with additional invest. And then last year, Governor Vince with HB 101, an extra $2 million in revenue for us. So we can gain, but I don't think it's going to last there.
We're one of the 5 biggest counties in the state. It's terrible.
I think we're given a lot of information that these are all true. I really don't think we have much of a plan.
If you try to do it fair, and let's just say you're asking for 7, you're looking at 43 years to come back and redo it with 800 miles with the lot we've got on money. And it does depend on how many potholes they are and what the traveling is. And Mark Clark goes out on his bicycle and busts the car. He's going to raise heck. I got to go drive that road and see what kind of shape it's in. And then what can we do to fix that so he don't bust the next car?
Why I carry spare tubes.
Well,
we can only do with what money we've got.
I will tell you this today, Harrison County wants us to use that money primarily for roads. That's what was originally given to us for 2%. We are the only county of the 5 counties that give it to that's ever thanked them or done anything for them. And so I think they would be happy to know that we're putting most of this money on roads in our county. That's what I think it should be.
Have we not done that in the past? The way you said that, it makes it sound like there were.
The last 2 years, we have not used Riverboat money to pave with. It's used on the roof or something, some kind of repair somewhere.
It needs to be put on the road primarily. Coon cap and other things for the crews.
This is not going to get any better because with the modern technology, we've got a lot of our citizens that are farmers and so forth. It's got large equipment, used on the roads. We've got a lot of logging that goes on, that's one of our biggest industries in the county. You know, we can't neglect that. So, you know, we've got an ongoing problem here.
And even the Amish buggies tear up on roads, gravel and, paving
And
roads.
it's very worrisome about our bridges. I brought that up, and I know we're working on that, building like this. You know, I just wonder how long it's gonna be until we have some type of vehicle go across one and have the same mistake we had out South Boston with that bridge.
How are we on the money that the state gives us additional appropriations for roads, I guess? This year, did we get that money and we got put to good use, I suppose?
I think this was, if I'm not mistaken, this is the last year that money's gonna be available. That actually, well,
Now, I've had discussions, you know, with the state too, is that they know that the funding formula is not working. And that a lot of roads are going to, bad shape out in counties and rural areas, and they're well aware of that. And they know that what they did for a couple of years was a Band-Aid in there, but they're actually seeing that it was a necessary thing that they had to do. So that type of money that they've been spending into the counties, they're working right now readjusting the formula to try to get that amount of money back into the counties that's equivalent to what they put in. I know they're working on it. It's not done. I guess Dr. Steve Davidson and all the people that are running in there try to push that through a little bit. But going back to this proposal in there, $300,000, and it's coming out of the Riverboat Revenue Fund. And I know that Harrison County, as they come in there, and they asked us last year to ask what we were spending the money. And Sarah replied back to them what we were, and that it made us all fairly nervous, you know, in what we had spent that money for last year, and that because we had in the back of our mind what the intentions of Harrison County, and it is on a voluntary basis for them as to what they do with that money. So having that in mind, I just feel like that got an inadequate game plan. You know, and there's a lot of variables in there that make that inadequate. But I don't think that we're indexing our roads correctly or to what we have capabilities. We've got some things available in technology that we can index and have a little bit better game plan.
when Governor Pence introduced that bill 2 years ago, my understanding it was first going to be given to the state of Indiana to certain counties. And he first set up the bill, and it was going to go to the counties who had wheel tax. We've all put this off. But with the number of highways, with the expense we've got, it's something you're going to have to look at. Now, that's probably every good year, but at the same time, your debt still comes after you. Your expense still comes after you. It's not a popular thing, but when you look at the book that you just received, that shows all the counties, there's very few that don't have it. They have to. It's an expense we all have to incur. It's something we all want the luxury of driving on blacktop roads, but we have to pay for those roads. And they turned it down, and they went ahead and they limited the money, or give the money to the counties, whether they had the wheel tax or not. And I don't know what's going to happen down the road, but it's something we're going to have to look at.
Okay. Council, we have additional appropriation coming from Riverboat Revenue Fund and to requesting it for payment. This is the appropriation that's in front of us. What's the will? Randy Mills? made motion. John Reynolds, the second. It's open for discussion.
Just one quick, question. On the riverboat money, are they doing that more incrementally now than before? Because I just seen where they give us 20,000 at one time. So is it coming in a little bit at a time versus that 160, 150?
It's,
Or they feel like doing.
yeah, whatever they feel like giving and what
So
they
they're
feel
not
like
doing so
giving.
much a month now. It's still just whenever they write a check.
And this may or may not be the time to discuss it, but Michelle asked me a question, which she and I discussed and dealt with. But in 2011, there were certain amendments to Indiana Code 4-33-23. And basically, it is a reporting system from the state of Indiana asking particularly the counties with riverboats how they spend their money. And I think it's probably an offshoot of some of the stuff that went on up in Lake County. But basically, those counties and the auditors in those counties are having to report to the state of Indiana how unspecified monies are being spent. And the state of Indiana wants a paper trail to make sure those monies are being spent, I'm gonna say, properly and legally. And according to the statutes, those auditors have to do some certification. That at some point, again, I've said this for a number of years, and I'm glad I've been wrong, but at some point, I would think an auditor is gonna simply say, I'm not certifying. I don't know what Washington County does with that money. We write them a check and they tell us what they do with it, but I'm not certifying to the state of Indiana under penalty of perjury that that's what they do with it. And if it's easier for us not to give it to them, that's fine with me. So, there's another nail in the coffin, quite frankly, that I see that sooner or later, some of these counties are gonna say, it's not worth us to take that liability. And if the state wants to put it all over into what I call the state riverboat distribution fund, that may be where this is headed again. There we are. I mean, that's what drove, I think, this year, the request from Harrison County to the auditor's office, not just Sarah, but to Washington County. What are you doing with our money? Because they basically had to report back to the state of Indiana what's being done with that money. And that's going to start carrying some liability with those counties. I mean, it's just not Harrison County. It could be Switzerland and Lake and everywhere that there's got one. So you can keep that in the back of your mind. Because the question really was, did we have to report? And I don't think we did.
I think Tom wrote it.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, that's going to be another.
Sarah, you did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sarah replied.
I
Sarah's the one
form,
who
and I filled
replied.
out the form and sent it back to them.
And that's what's, I think that's probably what's driving, I made some assumption there, but I think that's what's
A
driving.
lot of our money, I think, was spent on archaeological study too.
Yeah, a lot of the riverboat money has gone to the bypass.
Now, just bring it up in there. We take the $300,000 out of that riverboat. That leaves, right now the balance is $559,096.28. That's what, when you take the 300 out, that leaves $259,096.28.
I think we owe some more on that bypass too. I don't think.
Yeah, and plus our budget we're working with right now is in the red. So, I mean, we've got some funds in there. We did not appropriate that riverboat money because we knew that the budget at the end was going to be tight. So, I'm going to ask one question. Commissioners, is that money already spent?
Is the money already spent?
Is
National Blackhawk?
Yeah. No.
No. No.
So you're waiting,
We're gonna
waiting
open
on
that.
this.
We still
I
got,
might be blonde, but I'm not stupid.
Well, I know, but I didn't
No,
want to.
when I gave the guys their allotment of money to spend, I don't even give them their full allotment of money to spend, because I know how you men are, you like to spend money, so, but no, really, the 300,000 was not ever put in.
Okay.
It better not be, because we just sent to you guys, we approved it, or suggested, but we knew you had approved it before we could even spend it, so.
Okay.
So there was a time, I think, when they did overspend paying money, and it went into next year.
All right, just a question.
But I hope that.
It's open
we're
for
not doing
discussion.
that now.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor to go ahead and make the appropriation of 300,000. And is that discussion? Is there any more discussion?
You just mentioned how much we have left. About 40,000 of that may be needed to finish up that.
Yes, for the land acquisition, that's still
Land
out, one
acquisition.
is still out.
But that's the only thing that gives that right now.
Sarah probably would know. Is there anything else besides that 40, Sarah?
No,
All right, so there's about 220 left.
But they know that they've got issues they may have to deal with down the road,
You
so
never know.
you guys,
oh, I agree, I mean, we don't know where
That's
we
why
are.
we haven't asked for 300,000.
Okay,
all right,
close on discussion. Take this to a vote. All in favor of the appropriation, signify by raising your right hand. All against? Same, motion carried. I think we've got an ongoing problem that has to be addressed. Okay.
Yeah, you said that. And you're right.
Sheriff's Department,
at some point down the road.
from Claude Combs, our sheriff. I would like to inform the council that jailer was released to insufficient progress, and we have hired a replacement for that position. We have also had an officer resign for personal reasons and are now under the process of hiring another officer to fill that position. So that's the notice to bring back to the council of 2 new hires that he's in the process. They are not additional hires, they were already hires that were approved, and we're looking at replacing.
Has he asked for additional lift on top of?
No.
Well,
Well,
We have in the
we have-
past.
and we approved that. But these are positions that's already been
They
filled.
approved, yeah. I think we gave him 3.
I can't remember if it's 2 or 3
I
for this
think
year.
we gave him 3. I think he came and asked for 2, and we went ahead and approved 3.
Yeah.
Okay,
Because they're doing their training up there on the addition. Trying to get everybody up there to speak.
all right. Anything else needs to be brought before this council at this time? No? Well,
I'd like a motion to say, hey, Commissioner reports.
okay. Do you want to make, anybody want to make
Everybody else.
a motion to go ahead and approve those replacements? Gerald Fleming, Vanderbilt second. Open for discussion, seeing none, take the vote. All in favor, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same. Thank you for your diligence. Council, do you have anything else that needs to be brought before this council at this time? Public, I appreciate your participation in that. Anything in particular that's driving on that? Otherwise, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Somebody.
I will be able to make a motion second. All in favor, signify by raising your right hand. Anybody disapproves, stay here.
John, all of them are
To adjourn. All right, thank you very much.
on favor.
I think that's chill.